Greetings, world. 'Tis I, Andru, the bearded lady. From Hairy Game Lords and for Zatu Games, I'm going to review for you this Imperial Settlers roll and write from Portal Games. Let's find out what I thought of this. Okay, so before I tell you what I think, let's go over to the table and find out how to play. Okay, so let's have a look at how to play a 3-player game of Imperial Settlers roll and write. Everybody starts off with one of these, which is the Imperial sheet, and one of these, which is the Villager sheet. So, we've all got that. Obviously, you need a pencil as well. And what happens is the first player to go first and crosses off this number 1 location. Everyone then does that, takes the dice and gives them a roll. Marvellous. So the results are, let's just have a little cheeky look at this. So the result here is, this is the worker dice. Die. This tells us that we have 3 workers. Effectively, you can tick off or cross off 3 boxes. Then we have the different resource dice. So we have stone, wood, and the coin is a wild resource. It's effectively you are buying the resource. So this could be either stone, wood, or food. Next, you need to do a choose the favour. So these are the favours. There are, as you can see, 5 in the game. Now, depending on how many people are playing, you shuffle up all 5, and then you deal out, you count how many people are playing. So there's 3 people playing plus 1. So you would deal out 4. Let's just go through what each of these means. So this is yield. Yield is really, really helpful for harvesting when you have unlocked the fields, which I'll explain a little bit more about in a moment. So to harvest counts as an action, one of the numbers off your dice here, your worker dice, your action dice. But to yield means that you can harvest for free and it doesn't use up one of your actions. Export flew out of my hand. How funny. Export, you can trade up to 3 different resources for victory points. Very helpful. So you could trade these. Maybe you would think, right, well, I don't need these this round. I'm going to trade those and I'm going to get 2 victory point stars instead. This bad boy here, ally, you get an additional worker, so an additional go. Effectively, you've got another box that you can mark off that round. The lucky coin is, well, this is like a wild, so you gain a coin that round, and effectively a coin is a wild resource. And then boon. So you can choose a result on a resource die and gain an additional 1 of those resources. Fantastic. So, like I say, they would be shuffled up and 4 would be chosen. So let's say that these 4 were chosen. Then, each player, starting with the player who rolled the dice, will choose which one they want. Fantastic. Then we move into the expand your empire, which one of 2 things can happen. You can either do some harvesting, and again I'll talk about that in a moment, or you can do some building. Building takes place here in your village location. So for every square that there is without something in, so a blank square, that would, you can cross that and it will cost you an action. Where there is a resource required, it will cost you an action, but also the resource required. So for the farm, for instance, on what we have 3 actions. So therefore we can mark off 3 boxes. We have wood on the dice, so we could mark off that bottom one. We have stone, and we have a wild. So you don't need the stone or the wild, but you do need the actions. So what you could do is, for this first go, you could put a cross through this box, and then the wooden box as well, creating yourself a farm, and you would gain one of your, you would gain a food resource. If you had an additional go, for instance, this player they have an additional turn, then what they could do is they could take that food resource that they have and they could cross off one of these food resources required in this location. So as you can see, there are stone. You can work your way along to get that. Look at that, my word. This is the Imperial track here, but you can't get there without having to go all the way along here. Same with the wood. Each one, your victory points can be hugely helped by unlocking all of these. Now, for instance, this bottom track here is the bridges. You will need to fill in 2 of these locations. Yes, it gets you 2 victory points at the end, but it also helps you to unlock this bridge here. The rules suggest that when you unlock something, you circle it. So you can circle, for instance, on this sheet here, you could go ahead and circle the farm when you've unlocked it, and the settlers, the collectors, and so on and so forth. So when you've unlocked this bridge, you could circle it. Now what is available to you now is this whole field for you to harvest. And when you harvest, you take all of one of the resources that are available to you in that field. Now, as I said, harvesting is an action. And so the yield favour is one certainly to get, because actually it allows you to harvest for free. Once you have harvested, say for instance, once you have harvested wood, you need to make sure that you have enough actions left to be able to cross off the location with the wood where the wood is required, either on this empire sheet or on the villager sheet. If you reach the end of your go and you have resources left and you've not spent them, they are wasted. You cannot save resources for another go. As you track along here, you unlock more bridges, and you will need certain resources to do so. But as you unlock more bridges, you unlock more locations for you to harvest from. You don't have to harvest everything in this location before you move into this field. So it can help. Different things. When you get down to this place here, look how much stone that you can harvest. You can get 5 stone in one harvest or one yield on that go. And here you can get 5 food or 3 wood, 2 stone. Fantastic. These things really help you to be able to mark off these boxes that are required much later on. Excellent stuff. And that basically is the basic game in a nutshell. You keep on the first order. The active player moves round each go. They get to roll the dice, and they also get to choose first which favour they would like. In the advanced game, you are looking to create patterns in certain locations. So you could create, for instance, a pattern like so. When you've ticked off certain locations, the dotted lines are nicely drawn on there for you. So you could create here this blueprint, which therefore allows you in the farm. I've created the blueprint for the farm, and instead of getting one food resource each go, I can now get 2 each go. If I was to go for a second blueprint, I could perhaps go here, another L shape. It has to be exactly as the blueprint is laid out on the sheet. Now I've got 2 farm blueprints, and each go I will now get 3 resources of food. Fantastic. So that's the advanced mode, and it works really well, creating some more strategy to be used also. One little thing to add is that you can house rule things in here, and as you can see in the very clear rulebook, it has a section for your own house rules. Write them down here so that no one can say that's not in the rulebook. Love it. And that basically is how you play the basic and advanced game of Imperial Settlers Roll and Write. So, what did I think to Imperial Settlers Roll and Write? Well, you may have seen some of my other reviews on different rolls and write, and you know that I'm a fan of roll and write. This one is brilliant. Love it. In fact, I would say, for me personally, I think this is one of the best roll and writes I've played yet. I just find that these games get better and better. So what do I like about this game? Well, I like the different pads that are available. So there are 3 different pads, and this one is for it's called the adventure mode. So it's not the solo play, it's the adventure mode, which already sounds more appealing than a solo play where you're just playing on your own. Also, what I like about the adventure mode is it's different each time. So this is a pad of 48 different sheets. That's right, they're all different. And so there's variety in playing the adventure mode. Now, as somebody who doesn't usually play solo playthroughs, I was really intrigued to have a go with this one because of the fact that, one, it's called an adventure mode, but also because there's so many different variants on how to play it. And when it comes to kind of solo play, I guess roll and write are probably some of the easiest solo plays to get into because they're just so quick to have a go through and try on. And again, like I say, there's lots of different replayability in that as well. So for the wider game, for 2 to 4 players, let's see. You've got this pad, as you saw earlier on in the how to play. What I like about this is there is just so much to do on this pad. So as you can see, you can track along and tick off all of these to get these Imperial scores there for the end of the game. Or you can go along the bottom and get access basically through these bridges into these fields here, where you can harvest more stuff to build more things in your settlement. Just brilliant. There's lots and lots of variants. What I found was the first game we played of this, everybody's first go was exactly the same. We all did the same thing. But then, as we started to plan our strategy, as we started to get a little bit more used to the game and what we were doing, we just went off and everybody started doing different things and obviously then had different results at the end of the game. Everybody, after they counted up, everybody had a score in the 40 area. And there was third, second and third. Between third and second there was 1 point and then there was a couple of points between second and first. But all in all, a really tight but good game. It's a game that's really easy to teach, not only to learn but also to teach. So I've been able to play this game with a number of different people, some that are board gamers and some that aren't, and everybody has understood the clear rules from the off and gone into it straight away. The artwork is really nice and component quality is also really nice. Those dice, the wooden dice, really nice feel to them. They're light, obviously, but they have that really nice roll to it as well. I like the way there's a dice box or a dice tray in the box if you want to use that. If not, you could just get involved and use the Zatu Games one. Just a bit of a plug there. But all in all, it is a really fun game. Doesn't take too long to play. We played a game in about 20 minutes. That was with 3 of us. And also because there's no kind of downtime either. So everybody is playing at the same time. You play simultaneously at the same time. And actually when doing that, there can be no copying as well. Because, hey, you're all just working on your own thing. Really like the advanced rules as well. So advanced rules doesn't just see you kind of like working along and ticking off these things to get the Imperial points for the end, which are better points, or even help you unlock this area here, the field. But the advanced points brings in another level of strategy as well. But again, that adds in just some more kind of like thinking through of which settlements do I want to enhance, which buildings do I want to enhance, and which ones, how does that all kind of fit together in this area, which again is just you're ticking off these different things. So it just adds in a whole new level that, yes, is certainly advanced, but also so much fun. Really, really recommend this game. Imperial Settlers, roll and write. Artwork is fun on the front. The artwork actually on the pads is really good. What I like also is, just one more thing, what I really like is, and this may be because I'm into the design and kind of art stuff as well, but I love the way that the artwork on the pad looks like I could have drawn it. It looks like anyone could have drawn it. And so then when you're marking on the pad in pencil and drawing on certain things and whatever, it looks like it's all part and parcel of the game. So your doodles on here enhance that gaming sheet and the way that it looks. Fantastic. Love that. Just those little things. Love it. So, if you're new to Roll and Write, this is a brilliant start, a brilliant starting place. If you have played a few different Roll and Writes, then certainly get involved with this one. Lots and lots of fun, lots of replayability. And check out the adventure mode as well. Now remember, Zatu games are going to be rocking out a brilliant price for this. Why not go check it out and get involved today? Thanks for watching.